everybody, and welcome to Gene's Reviews, movie reviews from a regular dude. I'm doing another reaction today. This is from one of my favorite channels that I've been watching a lot of on YouTube. It's called Slapped Ham is the name of the channel, so check it out. But this is called Real Dark Web Horror Stories That Will Freak You Out. Let's check this out in 1, 2, 3.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some real dark web horror stories that are sure to freak you out. But as always, before we jump into these chilling accounts, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome creepy content just like this.
A lot of people take to the internet to play games, and the dark web is no different. However, the types of scary games found in the darker corners of the web are a bit different from what most of us play online.
I heard of
The
that
most
game.
well-known
It's
game
like
to be born on the dark
old.
web is called Sad Satan. In this game, players explore black and white corridors while listening to recorded interviews of various murderers such as Charles Manson. As they explore, images will periodically pop up obstructing their progress. The images typically depict abuse and other graphic violent crimes. Players may notice creepy children standing in the corridors. At first, the children simply stand and stare. Eventually, one child will begin following the player, harming them in some unseen way until the player dies and the game ends.
just give me a horror movie. That's enough for me.
One thing that the dark web is
People
most
are
widely
looking
known
for
for is the sale
more
of
and more
illegal
extreme
drugs.
stuff every day.
However, there are other things available for sale that you would never find on Amazon. According to one dark web user, they were casually browsing the Silk Road, the most highly trafficked site for drug sales, to see what unusual and possibly illegal things they could find up for sale. One item they found turned their experience into one of the dark web horror stories that will haunt them for life. The item in question was a do-it-yourself vasectomy kit. The user describes it as looking like some sort of arcane dentist's tool with metal hooks attached to a tube. As far as the user could tell, the kit didn't come along with any instructions for how to use it, but they were rather impressed with
Just
the
stick
bargain
it in your
price.
pee hole, I guess.
Performing your own surgery can apparently be accomplished for as little as $20 if you know where to look. There are numerous reports of the dark web hitting a little too close to home. Some users have had experiences where personal data has been leaked within seconds of visiting a dark website. One user said they were browsing photos on the deep web on Tor. They took a break and went to fast food chain Five Guys for lunch. When they returned, they jumped back on the deep web forum that they were browsing that morning. The first picture they saw was a photo of themselves eating at Five Guys just minutes earlier.
Whoa.
Another user said they made a comment on a video embedded on a website on the dark web. Later that day, they got a reply from someone that said, "That's very astute of you," and said their surname, despite the original comment being supposedly anonymous.
Wow.
So a word of warning before you decide to venture into the deep dark web, there might be not so nice
I wonder
people
if some of these are like
monitoring your every
creepypastas,
movement.
though. They're not even true. That one about Five Guys, that'd scare the shit out of me.
A lot of what you see in gangster movies isn't real, but unfortunately it's possible to take out a hit on just about anyone.
Heard of people doing
The
that.
dark web is one place where you can make this a reality. According to many users of the dark web, the network is full of requests for hitmen with various skills and abilities. You can also visit sites specifically dedicated to matching trained hitmen with potential employers. On one dark website, Assassination Market, murder is turned into a game. People place names of potential victims on a public forum. Other users make bets on when the target will be killed. Once the target dies, the person who guessed the most accurate times takes home the money. While the users may make it sound like a game, the consequences are all too real.
Wow.
Many of the most popular dark web horror stories out there have come to light thanks to Reddit. One Reddit user tells a story about a deep dive into the dark web that they took before Google even existed. According to this user, they found a website that seemed to be an assortment of random comments from a variety of different people. They were trying to compile a list of IP addresses for the posters to figure out what the website was about, when they came across a large server filled with HTML documents and images. They dug through the files for a while, discovering that the HTML files appeared to be the confidential notes of mental health professionals. The images looked like scans of faxes that appeared to be medical and military in origin. After exploring the server for a while, the user noticed that a new HTML document had popped up that was only a few seconds old. It was titled, "Hello there." The user clicked on the document and was greeted with this startling text, "We see you." Seconds later, the user lost access to the server and was too terrified to look for it ever again. Some people who visit the dark web are looking for very dark things, as evidenced by one site that claims to give step-by-step instructions on how to summon demons. The site is called The Joy of Satan, which is available in a simple Google search, but there is a more chilling dark web version. It has a variety of topics that may be of interest to someone who wishes to pledge their soul to the devil.
Oh, that sounds
You can
fun.
explore rituals and symbols that will help you on your way. You can even visit a special section of the site created just for young people who wish to be part of Hell's Army. According to one Reddit user, the creepiest thing they ever found while diving
I've heard
deep
about
into the
that.
dark web was a page that was basically the Food Network for flesh eaters. On this site, they found seemingly endless information about the best ways to kill, prepare, cook, and eat humans. Specifically, the guide instructed readers on how to best consume women. Somehow, the gender specificity makes this story all the more horrifying. The unfortunate user who stumbled across these dark web horror stories wanted to believe that it was just a joke. However, the information was too detailed and too comprehensive to be the work of a prankster. They found recipes for different cannibal preparations and what specific body types to target if you wanted a specific cut of meat. The page even gave tips on ways to cook a human body so that the person would stay alive for as long as possible. Needless to say, the web surfer who stumbled across this page hoped they'd never meet the users of this site. When we think of slavery, our minds usually go back centuries to images of poor Africans chained up in the bellies of slave ships. As horrifying as those images are, what's even more disturbing is that even today slavery is alive and well, thanks in part to the dark web. There are still plenty of people who want to buy and sell other humans. Law enforcement does a lot of work to track and combat human traffickers, meaning that they have to be sneakier about their activities. Consequently, the dark web has become a hotbed for this type of activity. Human slavery is a $150 billion
They need
per
Liam
year
Neeson.
industry, and much of that money changes hands on the dark web. People are bought and sold, and slavers even host forums where they can trade advice on how to elude authorities. Some sites have been identified and shut down
A
by
man with a
authorities,
very special
but the
set of
dark web is
skills.
a vast place, and there are still plenty of places for these sadistic criminals to hide. This may sound like a website dedicated to academics, and its users certainly believe that they're acting in the name of science. However, the details of this disturbing corner of the dark web actually make up one of the best known dark web horror stories of all time. According to the creators of the site, they're using the page to document a series of experiments that they're conducting to prove that some types of humans are superior to others. They say that they typically experiment on homeless, undocumented people to avoid detection. The details of their experiments are gruesome. According to their logs, experiments have included starvation, vivisection, intentional exposure to disease and drugs. One experiment, described as tolerances to X-rays, heat and pressure, has particularly unsettling implications. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at what a red room is, remember to hit that subscribe
Man,
button
there's
and
some
turn
really
on channel
screwed up
notifications. That way you'll be completely up to date with all our latest content. The dark web is a place where pain and violence are allowed to run unchecked by the usual filters and policing that we see on the internet. According to some users of the dark web, they've come across places where you can watch such violence happening live. These particular
I would
sites
wanna
are
see
known as
something
red
like
rooms,
that.
and they've been home to some of the most horrifying dark web horror stories. One user tells of a specific red room that they found one day while browsing the dark web. The live stream began with a young woman sitting on a chair. She was asking viewers for requests on what she should do and act out, the details of which are far too graphic to be mentioned here. Sadly, this type of violence is all too common in these reported dark web horror stories.
If you want more creepy horror
Oh,
stories,
man. Some of that stuff is so screwed up. I don't know why I find it so fascinating though. I mean, there's really some messed up people in this world. Kids, stay off the dark web. And what is the difference between the dark web and the deep web? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and stay off the dark web. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and when you subscribe, tap that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. See you next time. Yeah!